Hello, I'm Captain Andrea.
And I'm Commander Matthew.
And welcome to Trek Back Tuesday.
Now, previously on Trek Back Tuesday, we were starting to build our Hero Collector, Build the Enterprise D series.
We started to build one of the nacelles as well as part of the saucer section.
That's right, and we did run into a little bit of trouble there, so actually to follow up on what we did previously, we had problems with one of the nacelles, and that we didn't actually get to finish the part of the build, because they basically sent us two of the identical pieces.
And unfortunately, that didn't fit for half of the pack.
So we reached out to Hero Collector, and they in fact sent us replacement parts, but not just one replacement part, they actually sent us the entire first pack again, which actually kind of works out in our favor. So we have a whole brand new fresh magazine, as well as the top part of that saucer section, which is like the bridge area, as well as another replacement nacelle. So before we actually do put together what we're looking at today, I'm going to go ahead off screen and redo both pieces, because we did have a few issues with the saucer with some electronics staying together. So we're actually going to be working off of fresh pieces, essentially, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. And after that, we're going to take a look at the next few pieces. We have parts 3, 4, 5, and 6. It looks like we have part of the deflector here, as well as other parts of the saucer section.
That's right, and we were going to actually do originally separate videos for like all of these, but then I realized these two parts here, 5 and 6, they're kind of small, they're pretty quick, so we're just going to combine them all into one big video today.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. We showed you the first magazine. Here's magazine number 2. Very nice.
We'll take a closer look at that in a few moments.
But the thing that I was really excited about is we have a binder.
Yeah, this is really, really nifty and very nice of them. And this binder will actually be what we can, if we want to, punch, do 3-hole punch, and we could attach them into here. So we'll have really one spot to put everything.
I'm very excited about that because that's such a thoughtful... It's a thoughtful way to put everything together. You know, to make sure you keep everything together and you don't lose anything.
So that's a quick look at what our plans are for today. So let's go ahead, switch camera angles, and get started constructing our Enterprise D.
Yes. We're back, and here's everything laid out.
So this is section 3. This is stage 4 over here. And these are the ones we're going to start with first. And we have stages 5 and 6, but we'll get to that once we get these guys done first. But that's just how these parts look here. So let's go ahead and scoot them out of the way. And let's take a look at this month's magazine.
So let's take a look at the magazine. As you can see, you see the parts on one side, and over here it tells you what's in this issue. So you're going to have your, it breaks down the ship parts, it breaks down the instructions, and then it also gives you a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff.
So yeah, we're going to be spending a lot of time looking at these instructions as we go, obviously, but you can just get a quick view of how it all looks here. And so we did actually look ahead a little bit, and this is important for you guys to know also.
Batteries are needed.
Yeah, which we didn't actually know, so that's our fault for not actually reading ahead. So this is our advice to you is, when you get a new book, you should always read instructions ahead. Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I'm definitely the kind of person that when I get something that has to be built, I like to see what I can do on my own before going to the instruction booklet. Like, I might look at it a little bit, but I really like trying to figure it out myself. This was not one of those times.
No, because as we learned right here, yeah, we need to actually have some batteries. So I had to run out and get some, so thanks, Duracell, for unofficially sponsoring this video. So you will need 3 AAA batteries, so if you don't have them yet, here's your advance warning, go get some. So this is going to be for the deflector dish portion over here, which, again, we should mention what the batteries are for.
We get to test the lights!
Yeah, it's going to be our first time actually seeing how this thing looks.
I'm really excited!
I am too, because I'm very curious how this is actually going to appear once it is lit up, so.
I'm just excited because no one ever lets me play with the lights and electricity.
That's true, so you're going to get to do a lot of engineering today.
Sweet.
There's going to be some parts for the saucer section. We'll get to that as we go along. Some more escape pods. It's a little bit mostly cosmetic in stage 4. Stage 5 is, again, a few more electronic bits, it looks like, getting attached. And then we're going to continue working on skeletal supports of a part of the saucer section. So that doesn't look too bad, actually. I think the worst part is going to probably be 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I mean, 5 and 6 aren't going to be too bad.
Oh, now this is cool. So this is part 2 of designing the D, and concept artist Andrew Probert is talking about the saucer section separation from, the rest of the ship. And this is just really cool. Looking at the art, looking at the sketches and stuff, this is really neat. I love the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, and it is important to note that the D was the first ship on screen to actually separate. That was a big deal when it happened in the series.
I remember my first time seeing that, even though I knew it happened, and even though I knew that it was something that happened, just seeing it that first time, that was kind of awesome. That was beautiful to see.
And I didn't know this here, but according to this illustration here, the saucer separation idea first happened for the original motion picture back in '79.
Oh, wow.
And that actually is the original Enterprise, or that might be the refit. actually separating from itself. So, wow, even as far back as that first film, they had that idea.
I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, but in
Yeah.
a weird way, though, I'm kind of glad they didn't because we just didn't have the tech at that point.
And here's even more parts that would have potentially been
That's cool.
jettisoned off, it looks like. So obviously you guys can read this if you want to get more about it, but this is kind of our quick little look at all the sections. As always, I just love looking at original production art, like these great illustrations. And here's some of the detailed deck plan. Now, I've talked to a few people who were extras, actually, on TNG in particular, and they said there actually was, like, a plan, a layout that they could all look at to know where they were walking when they had to do their parts.
Oh, I love that.
So
That's thoughtful.
This could have been, like, one of the things that maybe they hadn't set for people to refer to. Like, okay, if I'm going to be going to this section because I'm wearing this uniform, that's where I walk off to.
And over in this section, this is just a look at the other decks and showing some more concept art from Andrew Probert.
Yeah, and just some more discussion about the history of how things were put together. So you can see there's the warp core over there, and how that looked in the original prototype designs here. Again, more really awesome looking illustrations of different types of things here. You got this lounge area.
Oh, wow, I like that. But I'm looking at the Hollow Suite.
Oh, wow, look at the holodeck arches there.
Yeah, sorry, Hollow Deck. I meant Hollow Deck, not Hollow Suite. DS9 moment.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Yeah, really nice illustrations all across the board here. I just love these illustrations. Like, I wish there was just a book of those, and there might be, for all I know. I just don't know, but there
No,
are.
I love that stuff too, yeah.
And, this is cool. So this is the actual physical model here now that we're taking a look at.
Ooh.
And this is talking about how it actually was physically made.
There is definitely something to be said about practical effects. I love practical effects.
Yeah, it's such a cool looking thing, because CG can do a lot of things that practical effects obviously can't, but at the end of the day, practical effects are still something that you're physically looking at, and it just really helps you believe it a lot more in most cases. If it's done really well, it makes you believe.
Yeah, but I think I just noticed one quick little thing. Yep, ILM. ILM. So you know what? That puts an end to the whole Star Wars and Star Trek debate. They live together. Both of them are great. They all help each other.
Yeah, ILM has been, like, in the early
Everywhere.
days of TNG, they were a major part of that. I don't know what, I think beyond TNG, eventually they got different companies to do special effects, but in the beginning, it was, Lucas, of all people, because they were always the top dogs of that industry, so.
Also, Lucas loves special effects. This is right up his alley.
Yeah. I really enjoy that they're also naming names here, which I know it's weird to say, but you can see it on both sides. They're making sure people get credit.
That's wonderful. That's something that's not done nearly enough nowadays. And it's really frustrating because I love knowing who works on what.
Yeah, some really cool behind-the-scenes photos. These are really great, and that is our look. So if you want more details, obviously, when you get this yourself, you can read it in depth, or if you could just pause the video and, look at it that way in our video here. But you should still be getting this, so that's your sneak peek at that. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the other extra that was included here.
The binder.
That's right, this is the binder that you're going to be able to, basically, if you want, punch some holes into this booklet here.
Well, actually, I don't know if that is, in fact, how you're doing it.
Oh.
Because there are instructions here.
Oh, interesting. All right, so are we going to be building this now, too?
We might be. So, I'm not 100% sure, but we're about to find out if my theory is correct. It looks like we pop these things out, which are attached, and we slide them into the little slots over here. And if I'm correct, and we have to do it on this side as well. So if I'm correct, then we're going to be using this to help hold everything open so we can actually read everything better.
Interesting. So how does that work, though? Are we sliding it through the page of the magazine, then? In the midsections?
That's the part that I'm a little unclear of, because it looks as though we're...
Looks like that is what we're doing.
Yeah. It looks like that is, and okay, I'm willing to give it a shot if you are. These are sharp.
Yeah, the one downside of these is that they're very sharp. I actually do have a little plier here, and I'm going to probably go through this after the fact. I'm going to try and just trim some of these because they're really sharp.
Yeah.
They're like little rose thorns. And that does help, actually, a little bit. So, all right, well, that's that part. We have some extras that we're leaving in there. So then now what's the next step? I wonder if it just goes in like this.
Oh, yeah, yes, that would make sense.
And what we're probably going to do is actually find the midpoint.
Yes.
We'll have to get issue 1 to do that. So I think what we do is we then find the midpoint and we slide these little guys into the middle, I would assume. And that's how they're going to stay in there. So you might not even necessarily want to do what we're doing, which is pull them all out. You might not actually need to do that at this point. But yeah, we'll... Because it's a little tricky to do it now with all these little guys in the way.
Oops.
We sabotaged ourselves, but I think that's what you're supposed to do. So
Yeah.
we'll do that. Yeah,
We'll figure it out, yeah.
There you go. So
Yes, yes.
you do that on the top and the bottom. And
then look at that.
Voila. So by the time you see this in the next video in part 3, we'll have them in properly. But yeah, since we need to actually refer to this for now, we're not going to do that this time around. But
Yeah.
that's how that works. That's cool. That'll make sure that you have all your books in one spot.
Yeah, and also you don't have to punch holes in it, and it's nice and neat.
So let us get started now with stages 3 and stages 4, and we'll see how this all works out. So thankfully, because Hero Collector did send us replacement parts, we now each have our very own screwdrivers.
Which I'm very excited about.
So we can hopefully work a little bit faster now, too. We can work separately, which is good, because there's 2 of us here. We don't need to be staring at each other's hands while we do this. So I think this is going to be definitely the more time-consuming part of the 2 pieces here. Yours,
Yes.
I actually don't know which one's going to be worse, yours or mine. Mine has a lot more popping of pieces out, so I can basically just do a lot of cutting in between.
Okay, so right now I am working on the battery box.
Okay, that's the first part of stage 3.
Yes.
I'm going to be fast-forwarding a little bit and independently working as much as I can on stage 4, which is, at this point, mostly just fitting little bits and pieces to the deck panels there, which are these little guys. So I'm starting here with 4B. We'll meet in the middle. I probably actually can't do too much with it until you're ready to turn the page.
So one other thing that I really like about the booklet, as you can see, is they actually talk about the screws themselves, and they talk about how the metal pieces are, well, they talk about how screws that are labeled with M's at the end are for metal pieces, and screws that are that have the P at the end, those are for the plastic parts. I just think that that's a really nice, easy way to, make everybody's life easier.
I'm just sliding these little bits in here, which is not really, the part I'm doing is not that difficult. It's just time consuming, because there's a lot to do with it. I will say the only minor frustrating part for my section is that these things all kind of like fit in very loosely, and they keep popping themselves out as you put them in. So hopefully, you can kind of jam them in, but they don't seem to want to stay put just yet. So
Oof,
yeah, just basically really squeeze them in there and do your best not to hit the other ones as you're doing it, because yeah, they're staying, but I feel like this would be better if it was actually glued. That's just my opinion on it.
That's fair.
Because yeah, you guys saw that, just popped one right out as I was trying to squeeze another one in there.
Oof.
That's kind of obnoxious.
So just so you know, this is something I'm not really used to seeing with, I guess battery boxes, but there are little tabs that you have to slide this part, the battery cover into. Makes it a little bit more tricky to get it in, but if it works, it works. Yes, I got a battery box.
We have a battery box.
That makes me far too happy. Ah, wait, what? And yet a screw popped out. That, I don't know what to make of that. It was in tight enough, and then, or at least it looked like it was in tight enough. It felt like it was in tight enough, and then it popped right out. Yes, that's what she said, but my point is still valid.
I'm just squeezing in, or trying to squeeze these little guys in, but they come right out. I'm like, am I doing something wrong with these? But they just, yeah.
Screws are having some issues. It does give some suggestions with how to deal with the shavings on the screws, but quite frankly, I really don't want to have to be doing that all the time.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. That's kind of the problem you have, like, mass-produced stuff like this is.
Yeah.
Some of these things kind of get lost in the wayside.
And also, for musicians, females, and just anyone in general who likes to keep their nails a little bit longer, be careful, because I've already chipped a nail on this, and as you can see, my nails are not that long.
So while Andrea is dealing with that, I'm going to go ahead and work on this part here. This should be interesting. These little bits I'm going to have to screw in, and I guess I can also probably start on the deflector dish itself. And by the way, just so Andrea doesn't look like she's going crazy here, or, so the commenters don't go, oh, you're doing it wrong, just to let you guys know, I'm over here with another BP, and this little device here, which is the deflector dish support, it's in, and it's holding, but this screw is also kind of stripped and not actually staying in firm, because I'm doing this, and I should let you know, it's already in there quite nicely. So, I know this thing says no glue. I think next time we do this, we're going to have to get some glue with us, because I'd feel a little bit safer about that. And we've had a few issues in the first video as well. I don't think everything is going to need it, but something like this especially, I'm a little concerned about. So, you might want to actually get some super glue after all.
Look, I'll be honest, when I've done anything that involves a screw, God, nothing I say is going to turn out right, so I'm just going to kind of go with it. But whenever I've had to, work with tools, yeah, no, nothing works.
Nope, not at all.
But the thing is, I'm used to it, going in pretty easily, being able to tighten it up and not having any problems. This is, maybe I don't always push down as hard as I should, but this is kind of ridiculous. I am applying pressure. I am doing this properly, and it is just not working. Look at that. It should not be coming off like that.
Yeah, no, it should not.
I mean, it's steady and it's in place because the other screws fit. This is very frustrating. Average amount of pressure should be, sufficient.
In theory.
But clearly not. But hey, battery box is officially, finally, totally done.
Yay.
So here you go, everyone.
So now this is going to be the deflector dish support. It's going to go on the back of the reflector. And it doesn't even look like it actually fits in there, so let's just see how this is going to work. I'm very curious about this part here.
Believe it or not, this is made more for people with tiny hands.
And I got pretty small hands, you know, not to brag, folks. I got pretty small hands. That's the thing people brag about, right?
Because look, I'm able to hold it down, and look, I got it in.
So that's kind of cool that it's actually accessible in that regard. And of course, we should admit that we are both amateur model builders, and even calling us amateur is an insult to true amateurs.
Hey.
We're learning as we go.
We're learning as we go, but I mean, I know how my way around tools.
Well, that makes one of us. So hey, there you go. That's this bit. That's
hopefully in place.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's sturdy.
Yeah, I hope so too, because that's a thing.
Next up.
Oh, good wires.
Yay, I like wires. Wires. Okay, that's got to be D over here.
So we got this little microchip thing too. Where does that go?
That's going to be what we connect everything up to. That's our electronics.
Where does that go as I stare right at the thing?
Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what? While I fight with this, you're fighting with that screw.
Where does that go?
It goes... Give you the screw. It goes right here.
Oh, that little bit there. That's obviously not staying in place. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yep, I am not a fan of our BPs.
Well, I'm going to try a different BP and see if that makes a difference. I know you've basically used half the bag trying to find one.
Mm-hmm.
Could just be that piece is, again, faulty.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll make it. We will figure this out.
As I pull the screw out, I literally can see the strip on it.
Yeah, but that's just it. There's so much extra stuff on these. They literally say in the section regarding the screws that you should put it in about halfway, clean off the shavings, and then put it in again. The problem is even the shavings weren't coming off.
Yeah, and as you guys can see here, I've used a different screw too, and I'm squeezing it together, but I'm not really feeling a change in it. It's still, it's not going down at all. Not going down at all, so...
You gotta squeeze out like really hard.
But it's just not connecting. It's just coming right out completely.
These are really small screws too. And
this is, now I'm just trying to get it out, to be honest. This is going to be just a case for, it slid it right out. So we've both been trying with a few different screws. So that just means that this part here is defective a little bit. So I love how I've watched like other people who build these things and they just have no problems, and we seem to get stuck with like all the ones that don't seem to work right. Like it makes us look even worse than we are at this.
Yeah, and that's really frustrating because this worked more or less. I mean, come on. Is it going? It's in. Okay, so we have this in. It looks good. Now, oh yay! Now the part that I'm really, really excited about. Okay. Oh, we got lights!
Oh yeah, we do have lights.
I gotta push it back in, but hold on, don't pick it out. I gotta push it all the way in. But check this out, we got lights!
I was looking ahead by the instructions, so I was like, when does this piece go in here? And this, I feel like it's meant to be here, but I guess we don't use this part yet, so that's just being held off for now. So where's the on and off switch, by the way, for this?
There's an on and off switch.
Okay, well that answers that question. Is this just always on?
I don't know. As of right now, yes.
Yeah, it says after testing, disassemble, keep all parts safe and significant later.
But bring out that other piece.
That's right. Here's from part one. We're gonna, I guess, finally connect this guy too, and that's gonna light up.
We're gonna disconnect it after testing it out. But
it's pretty bright too. It's pretty decent. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Also, pretty bright looking.
So excited! I've been.
Do you feel like MacGyver right now?
I do not feel like MacGyver. I just feel like I just succeeded in something sciencey.
Do you feel like O'Brien?
I do not feel like O'Brien. Fuck yeah! Check that out.
Wow, that's how it's supposed to look at that. We got it correct. Look at how nice that looks.
I did electronics!
You did. Congratulations. This is cool looking now. Wow.
Yeah, seriously. This is the sort of nerdy shit I've always wanted to do, and I have never had the parts or the understanding as to how to start doing this.
Now, as for an on and off switch, I guess there isn't one, is there?
There really isn't. We're supposed to take this out. We're supposed to, pop the wires out, but...
Well, we'll get to that a little bit later, I guess.
But at least we know we did this right.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna take everything out and pray nothing breaks, because that would suck. Okay, so I've completed stage 3, so we're moving on to stage 4 assembly.
And stage 4, as you guys know, I already started a little bit, so in fact, this was one panel that we're gonna get to in a few pages. This one over here, again, you can see I was having the issue with getting these escape pods to stay in the right spot, and they just don't want to actually stay. So I'm hoping as we progress, there will be a way to keep them firmly in there, but right now, not digging that. So what I have to do next is a little monotonous. I have to now basically take some of these little bits and pieces here and just plug them in and follow that pattern. So I just had to sit here and do that.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to be doing step B, which is completing the deck panel.
So away I snip. So as I'm doing this too, by the way, I'm following what it says, but it actually says here you don't need to do that. You can do whatever you want. So I might make some ad-libs here, but I kind of like how they showed it. So yeah, whatever. We'll see how it all comes together in the end. But I will add once again in terms of getting them to stay. You know, they're kind of very loose here, so I'm assuming at some point they will attach to something. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just kind of wasting my time. So we'll have to just see how this all works once it is completed. I finally put all the things in. Talk about monotonous. I didn't end up following it completely because I'm just like, meh, doesn't matter. So yeah, now the next step though is for Andrea to come over and do her thing. But I just want to remind you guys again, everything is still pretty loose here, so I'm very concerned about how this next step's going to work.
I'm a little confused at how this gets put on, to be honest. So we're gonna...
Yeah, the BP's going.
We got to go very delicately while we're doing this. Just
So the BP's are going in these 3 holes here, not in the side ones.
No, that's a little too small. Yeah, you have to be super duper careful because those little windows, they don't snap into place.
No, none of those really snap into place very well, which makes it just very difficult when you're doing it all, and especially, you know, when you're trying to keep them in place while you attach other bits to them. And yeah, just so you guys can see here, that's a filing we were talking about earlier that was on one of the screws that we actually pulled off. So that's why you do have to actually really clean your screws up. I don't know how many other people who have made these have talked about that, but like I said, we're enjoying this process. We are noobs at this. But it can be a little frustrating when you're a noob like us and you're rookies at this and you just have these like problems that aren't actually your fault.
Yeah, it can be a little disheartening because you feel like you're not doing it right, but you actually are. But yeah, like see, this is good. Look at that. Look at that. We got it.
Nice. I'm afraid to turn it over. Oh, that just came right out. But that's, I think we didn't actually finish securing it yet either, so...
I hope so, because...
There's definitely more pieces. You know, I'm not even going to flip it over. I'm just going to leave it as is.
Let's see what happens when you move to the next
I can tell you guys,
step.
like, those little escape pods are sticking out still, so we're just going to put that over there. Okay.
Now we go to the other one. Using the same technique, insert 17 windows.
Into this son of...
Oh.
Well, luckily I've got 2 escape pods already done. Huzzah for the escape pods.
And I'm going to just take that wiring right here, and I'm going to put it into this one, which is the U310L.
And I'm going to snip more of these little guys.
You're just going to cry.
I'm going to cry.
Well, you know what? While you're doing that, let's see if I can punch any out.
Yeah, you can definitely punch them
Ow,
out.
never mind. We're going to let you do that because check this out. I already scraped myself just doing that.
Yeah, I would not punch this out. And the instructions don't tell you, by the way. We mentioned this last time to use needle nose pliers, but I already have a pair from doing Warhammer building and other model building, so they're a very handy tool to have. If you don't have them, get them. They're not expensive either. They're not, I don't think they're actually needle nose. That's just me making things up. But these are just,
yeah, that's not needle nose.
They're little sprue wires. You can get them from...
You can get to these last one.
If you just look them up on Amazon, you'll find them. If I remember, I'll include a link to where you can get them as well. It's a worthy investment, especially considering that this has got a lot more pieces to go because we're only at stage 4 here. I think we have 120 till we complete this. So, yeah. Good, worthwhile investment to make.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is where you need delicate little hands or, you know, tweezers or something to help get these in and stay because they don't click in.
I imagine most pros probably do have, like, tweezers for this.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But for those of, you know, for the people who are newer to this, the newer to more intermediate people, they might not. They might not think of it. We didn't really think of it, you know, until we saw that we had to do this, and by then it was too late.
Yeah. All right, so we did that. That took a little time.
We got this part done. I was holding off on doing the, undoing the wiring, just because it was like, we'll get there.
Yeah, not really a point to do it until it's all ready to go.
Yeah. So let me just make sure I get
Especially because it's going to probably plop right out anyway.
Exactly. That was honestly my thinking. But I have both the cords here. They're pretty easy. You know, it's easy to put in.
So my big question, too, is, like, as we mentioned, I'm a little afraid to flip it over. That came out again. Because it looks like, you know, nothing's totally secure just yet. So I'm hoping that there's going to be something else that really keeps all the things in places. But there is, like, a gap of space that I don't want to really show you guys. You know, see how much I can turn over. But
that scares me so much.
That's about as far as I'm going to go. But there is a gap of space here, so I'm hoping something goes in there, but I don't really know. So, yeah, because those pieces are still quite loose on the underside of this.
Okay, so, somehow we have to get this all to stick. But it doesn't seem to want to fit properly. Like, it fit properly on one side, didn't fit as properly on the other. And I can't quite figure out why.
So we want to stress that while we are new at this, we're not that terribly inept. It's just, some of this building is a little counterintuitive. And when you're new, the instructions are pretty good in terms of explaining what you're doing and what things go where. It's just the pieces don't quite fit.
Yeah, like these pieces, they do not want to stay.
Yeah, the fact that these guys just keep popping out so much because they don't really snap in there.
And because these don't snap in easily into place, so we're doing a delicate balancing act of trying to put everything together. And
it's a little frustrating like we had last time. So, yeah, that's just pretty much where we're at right now, is just trying to get this thing to stay in place.
And it stinks because we know that this is an easy thing. Okay, we think we just got it.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stay out of Matthew's way, but hold it down so he can get the screws in.
Definitely helps to have two people. So I'm just gonna put these in right now a little bit looser, just to like put them in. But we know I get the feeling that even though once we get them still in, like
we still gotta be really careful with it.
Yeah, these lights have just not been staying in their spots that well.
Yeah, but teamwork is good. Communication is good if you're doing it with another person, as we're sort of finding out.
They say you should do a project with your significant other to see if you can survive. That's what we're doing. So far, neither one of us is dead, but hey, there's still 116 pieces to go.
If we make it to the end of this, you guys know it's real.
We'll invite you all to the wedding.
Online, because we don't have enough money for everyone.
Bring your own food if you come in person. Also your own chair. Also bring gifts. Alright, so I think at this point I'm doing it in phases, like I said, just because I like to kind of make sure it gets in there first. I'm going to say at this point, I'll call it as... basing it on what we did last time, I don't want to over-screw it, because that'll also strip things, but I also know I want to be, like, extra firm. So I think I'm going to call it here.
Okay, that's
See
fine.
how it holds. Looks like it's alright. We're going to be gentle with it.
So now we're going to flip it, because that's how they have us doing it. Because the yellow piece goes into this slot right up here.
Cool.
We got it!
Yay, let's move on, which is a part I already started working on a little bit. I actually skipped the step foolishly. So I was actually supposed to put in this little guy first, and it's got a little sticky bit, so I guess this is just meant to you can see it's got a little 3M sticker. So it's meant to actually just be attached into there, and it's going to be, I guess, it looks like...
I think is it that way, or is that the other way?
I think it is this way. Yeah, it looks like it's this way. Because it would not go
Stick
this way,
it, stick it, stick it.
Alright, so stick
That
it in
sounded
there.
a little weird, but I don't care. Stick it.
Let's stick this in the corresponding recess, as it says on the thing.
Oh, we're up to test. We're about to get to testing the lights too.
And, God, I wish the other things had sticky bits too.
Yeah, right.
Alright, and so that's there. Then I was supposed to put in the escape pods, which I already did. These guys, nothing happens with them yet, it would seem. So, I guess it's going to be a part for later. So now we're going to take the two deck panels, make sure they're properly aligned, and secure deck panel A parts to deck panel C with two Dungeon Master screws.
I like the Dungeon Master screws so much more.
So it looks like the part that I was concerned about, like, why there's that empty space, it looks like you're actually sliding this in between the empty spaces.
Oh.
That makes more sense.
Here we go. This is going to slide in. Where is this going to slide in? Right around here. I think this slides in right here.
I think that's where it's going to be.
Okay. Oh, can you open up the Dungeon Master screws?
And you're going to need two of them.
Yes, please.
There's three of them in here. I'm going to just pour them
Thank
all
goodness
out.
for extras.
Yeah, because we're going to probably need them.
Okay.
I don't know if we use another one. I can already see some schmutz on this one, in fact. I'm going to trim it.
Oh, look, it feels like it's going in.
Oh, thank the maker. Wait, wrong franchise.
Give it a little bit more. A little more zhuzh. Okay. I think we got this connected. So now... Oh, am I so scared of this?
This is what it's looking like right now at this phase or this section here. It's kind of neat as it starts to come together. I'm just so afraid of when we're totally done, just how it's all going to look, though. Because, like, you can see there's such, like, a bit of a gap in this spot, too. But it's like, what can we do about it? Nothing, really. That's just kind of how it is. So, yeah, that's kind of how it's built. Like, it looks like it is meant to be closer together. It's just not working out that way. So, yeah, we'll just say that the ship had some damage.
Battle damage, yeah, battle damage.
They were going to fix it on Tuesday, but, they had to get the ship out right away. So the next part is going to be returning to that battery compartment from stage 3 to test all the lights and make sure everything's working.
Okay, so let's bring our pieces back. I'm so scared. But what are we slipping into?
It's like everything is slipping into everything. What a crazy mess of parts this is. I think we're going to just cut to the chase and assume everything's working all right here, but
yeah.
I'm afraid to keep flipping this over until we attach it to something better. And I don't even know if it's going to stay because it's just so not sticking in this piece here. I'm not going to flip it over again because it already fell at once. So I think we're going to just assume that everything's working at this point and move on to the next parts.
Yeah. So we're going to go and say that this stuff is, at least, hey, we got the lights working.
Yeah, so that is stages 3 and 4. So now we're moving on to stage 5 as well as stage 6, which looks, stage 6 actually looks very easy. I feel like I just want to skip ahead and do stage 6 now to make us feel more confident about our skills.
Ah! Oh, for a second I thought I dropped the BMs.
Don't drop your BM on the floor.
What? Someone will have to clean it up. It'll be you. That's why you're number 1.
That's why you're number 2, I guess, today.
Nope, I'm the captain, so you gotta do what I need you to do.
Take care of the captain's number 2.
Pretty much.
So all stage 6 is just basically attaching the skeletal supports to the upper skeleton. That's literally all it is. So that's, well, yeah, that's pretty darn easy. Let's do that.
That's nice. I like that they're breaking it up. I like that they're breaking up in some complicated stages and then super easy stages.
You could probably go ahead and get to the next thing.
I don't know what the next thing is because you're on top of the thing.
Yeah, well.
You're on top of the...
Sounds like a you problem.
You're on top of the instructions. I'm trying to wait you.
All right, okay. I got this on, but it's a little loose. Hopefully that's not important.
A little?
It's a little wobbly. I've been like screwing it in. It's just, again, this feels like an issue with the screws maybe. I don't know how much deeper I can get in here. That's done. And that's done too. So that's just kind of wobbly. All right. Sure.
Okay.
Same thing now. Gotta flip it upside down and get this other slightly longer part here. And yeah, I guess we'll just do that.
Cool. I'll go then. While you're doing that, I'll look at stage 5. Oh yeah. This is great. That actually was done very decently. Okay, let's get this part on. It's the only way it can be. So yay, let's get some BMs. Who doesn't love a good BM now and then, right?
That's all the rest of this video is gonna be, folks. BM jokes. For folks who are not native to America, that means bowel movement. Just making sure y'all know.
Yep, because that's something y'all need to know.
Come for the Star Trek, stay for the bowel movements.
Oh, yeah. I got that one in. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
Why can't I macho it? So, yeah, so this is parts A and B. Now we just gotta do C and D and that. Dang.
Those are side pieces?
Yep. Yes, they are. Okay, here we go. I got this one in. You can do the other one.
And that's pretty much it. So that's how this is looking now.
Let's take these 2 BMs. And let's turn the page to make sure that there's nothing left. No, the next page is...
Next page is
part
stage 6, which is already done over here. That's what that looks like. I am a little concerned because, again, it's like, I know we're still many steps to go, but I really hope all these little bits do attach because right now they're just like so independent from each other. And that bugs me a little bit. It does concern me. So I'm hoping that resolves itself.
Yeah, I mean...
It's gonna have... There must be a way, because obviously there's still plenty more things to screw together.
Yeah, and I think it will eventually do that, because when we start adding more pieces, it'll start evening out. It's just... It's very frustrating to see.
Yeah, like maybe one of these bits does it. I don't know. This is definitely part of it. I mean, maybe this is an idea of how much more volume we're gonna get on this thing, too. Like, it's gonna be a pretty thick boy once we do put it together. Definitely are some things, though, that concern us, but I guess that's just gonna be part of the process.
Yeah, we're gonna be learning and seeing how they do it. There's not much we can say. We don't know how it's going to turn out. But, hey, considering, what we've been doing, all the pieces are working, everything's together the way it should be, the wiring is in, so far I'd say we're doing pretty okay.
I think so, too, considering that we're rookies. But if you guys who are watching have any pro tips for us on how to do better at this, we're all ears, of course.
Constructive criticism is always appreciated. Don't be a dick, though.
And if you want to get this for yourself, don't forget to check out Hero Collector's website. You can still jump into the subscription.
So until next time, I'm Captain Andrea.
I'm Commander Matthew.
And this is Trek Back Tuesday.
We'll see you here next time on Nerd News Today for more parts of our Hero Collectors Build the Enterprise D. Bye-bye. And don't forget to live long and buy toys. Excuse me, I'm trying to... Do you mind? Excuse me. Hi, thank you.